Suppose you're wondering why I'm wearing this Tyvek Coverall. Well, I'm just getting over a cold, and I was told the best remedy for a cold was to post a video on YouTube in a Tyvek Coverall suit. And somehow I think they were wrong. Alright, so as you probably guessed from the title, we're going to take this Tyvek Coverall suit and we're going to turn it into sort of a rained / wind jacket. Now I got this idea from a post on backpackandlight.com, which I will put down in the description, and I'll also put a link to the blog for I think it's the Southwestern Hiker. It was a blog reference that was referenced in the forum post on how to basically turn a Tyvek Coverall suit into a set of jacket and chaps designed for light rain use and wind blockage. And the one thing that I'm lacking as far as my kit goes is a wind jacket. I kind of looked at the Houdini, but at $100 I decided I'd wait a little while. So I actually bought this Tyvek suit off of Amazon and splurged at a total of $8.50. Now they sell them at Home Depot for like $4 1/4, but I don't know if they're the same type of Tyvek. This particular type of Tyvek is the 1443R Tyvek, which apparently is like a soft-celled Tyvek. It's not the same that they use to wrap houses in, or they make the ground sheets out of. So it's a little bit more soft, and apparently you can dye it as well. So we may experiment with that in a little bit. But this is going to be a real simple project. It's going to be super cheap. So there's a few things that you need to figure out, and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you can see is this is a full suit. Comes with the bottom, top, it's connected, and I've got a zipper here, okay? I want to retain this zipper, and I wanted mine to have a hood. You can get this without a hood. We're going to have to do a little work on the hood because it's a bit constraining, but I'm sure it's probably helmet compatible. So if you want to retain this, this zipper, you're going to want to go ahead and lay this nice and flat down on a table, and you're going to go about 1 inch or 2 below the zipper and put a pin through all the way to the other side, and that way you attach the top and the bottom together. And then you're going to come over on the sides and figure out, kind of where do you need to be. You're going to go a little bit below your hips, maybe 3-4 inches below your hips, put a mark there. And we're going to fold over the coverall. Once we lay it flat, we're going to fold it over, and that way we'll have the mark. And essentially we're just going to do one of these little things from the side of the hips to the zipper, and we'll cut it off. And I'll show you what that looks like here right now. Alright, one thing to point out is my particular suit, and the one that I have linked in the description, has this elastic right here. You may or may not want to keep that. It'd be easy to take it out by just unstitching it. So as I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to fold this flat. You're going to get it nice and flat. Take like a safety pin or something, and we're just going to go a couple inches below the zipper here on this stitch line, and we're just going to kind of put a pin through there. That's going to keep the sides together. Now I don't know if you can see this or not, but I marked out where my hip is. So I'm going to fold this over, retaining the flatness here. Through the miracle of television technology, we'll do this quickly. Alright, so I went ahead and folded it over. I got my mark right here on my hip, and then I have the pin in the back on that stitch. So what we're going to do is we want to make a nice transition. So here's my pin. Try to keep this flat as possible, and that way you're mimicking the same thing on each side. So here's my hip, and here's my pin in the back. And so essentially we're just going to kind of make a little line that's going to drop. You can come over and drop down if you want. Whatever you think the cut of your shirt's going to want to be. Here, let me adjust this. Alright, so you see I got my mark there. Now I'm going to use some scissors, and I'm going to cut it out. Pretty simple. Now because the zipper here is actually fixed to the jacket, okay, you're still going to have to pull it over your head. It's not really a complete 100% zip all the way down because there's no, I don't even know what the thing on the zipper is called where they get the little metal piece that goes in to start the zipper. So you're still going to have to put it over your head. But it still works a lot better than, you know, if you didn't have the zipper. You could lose the zipper if you wanted to, since you need to put it over your head. You could, you know, lose the zipper up to a certain point and make it like a quarter zip. But the beauty of Tyvek is, wherever you cut, it's not going to fray. So let's try it out. I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so here's the jacket fully unzipped. You can see you'll have venting options. Here it is zipped up. The sleeves have a little elastic on them. And, you know, it doesn't ride too bad. It kind of sticks up a little bit in the front here because the way that it's cut. I might trim that a little bit. Seems a little tight around the thigh, so I might move up a little further. Once again, the beauty of Tyvek is you can make adjustments and you don't have to worry about resewing a hem or anything because it's not going to fray. Now, remember that you can always take away, but you can't add material back. But, I mean, that took all of 5 minutes and we have a jacket. Now, we got to do a little work on this hood because the elastic here ain't doing it for me. And I think I might remove the elastic from on the interior. So I'm going to try that and we'll just unstitch it and, you know, we'll see how it goes. It's just kind of a mess around, and for $8, $8.50 as it catches my glasses, I'm dying. Ah, cut. Well, I pulled the stitching on that elastic and you can see here that apparently there was a sort of seam there. I guess they cut it to make a gusset. Now, I could easily just sew this back together, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of damn lazy, and that's going to add too much time, so we got Tyvek tape. We'll just tape it up. Alright, so we got it all taped up. We even have now got a logo and a brand, so when somebody says, you know, hey, I got a Patagonia, or I got a Mountain Hardware, we could say we got a DuPont. And nobody else has a DuPont wind jacket. You're going to be the only one except for me and anybody else who's fool enough to make this. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so I took the elastic off the hood and you can really see that it doesn't scrunch up as much, but it definitely has some good coverage here in case you ran into problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this back a little bit, but I'm going to fold it in like this, okay? And I'll do this a little bit better, but I'm going to essentially fold it in, trim it up to where it fits good, but have enough that I could fold in to make a channel so I could run some shock cord out to some little cord locks here, and that way I could tighten the hood up if I need to. So it's just a matter of figuring out how it works. I think there's enough in the back. I just think this front part, I just need to trim it back a little bit and fold it up. I'll be good to go. So let me do that and we'll check it out. Alright, so this is just to give you a look at what I did on the hood. To keep them with the no-sew design, all I did was fold it over and used Tyvek tape to seal it up. Now I did cut the Tyvek tape in half. You could probably maybe go a little bit thinner and save you a little weight there. And so I just, you know, folded it over. I had some white cheap shock cord and some tiny little cord locks. And so I just ran it through there, you know, taped up the channel, ran it through there. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I did put an extra piece of tape here at the end just to keep it nice and secure because there will be a little bit of tension pulling it on there. Alright, so here's the final product. You can kind of see that when you cinch up the hood here, you do get pretty decent seal on it. I took this with me on a recent trip to on the Cotaway section of the Ozark Trail, but I didn't have an option to use it. It didn't rain, and it didn't really get cold enough to warrant a wind shirt. Now I went ahead and sealed all the seams on here, on the back, on the neck here, down the side, all that with the mineral spirits and the silicone, the same way I sealed my tent. And I don't know if that's going to waterproof it or not. We'll have to wait and see. It's sort of a work in progress. The hope is that this would work decently, at least as a wind shirt. At 3.73 ounces or 106 grams, this weighs slightly less than the Patagonia Houdini, which is kind of the standard wind shirt that everybody says, you know, de facto go buy this thing. And that costs $100. Once again, this was $8.50, and I still haven't done the chaps yet. So we'll have to see how it works out, but it's a fun little project, and it really doesn't take that long to do. So stick around. The next thing to do will be to dye this and the chaps, and then make up the chaps, and I'll do that in a separate video. I guess one other tip would be, if you're going to dye this, would probably be to do it before you seal it and before you put the Tyvek tape on there. I just kind of wanted to get it done, so I don't know, we'll have to look and see what happens once I finish dyeing it. I'm not really worried about looks, otherwise I wouldn't be walking out in a giant Tyvek suit. So anyway, there you go. If you got any questions or comments, post them below, and stick around. Thanks for watching.